Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Beth and today we are in my kitchen because we are going to be making some scones. Let's get into it. So lately I have been seriously craving the vanilla bean scones from Starbucks. So I decided, let me try and make some for myself. Just a disclaimer, this is not my own recipe. This is a recipe I'm following off of recipegirl.com. I have my laptop right here kind of with the instructions. So I'm following this recipe. I will link it down below as well as include just the text of the recipe because it is kind of like a long blog post. So I will put it all in the description down below if you guys would like to make these as well. I will try and go kind of slow with it so you guys can hopefully follow along if you want to. The only thing that is going to be different about my recipe, well, there's gonna be a couple things. So first off, I could not find vanilla beans anywhere. So these technically won't be vanilla bean scones. They're just gonna be vanilla scones. But I read in the comments of the recipe and people said that that's totally fine. So I'm gonna just be using vanilla extract. And also, reading just now in the recipe, it calls for you to put all of the ingredients into a food processor. My food processor is this big, so that's not gonna work. So I think what I'm gonna try and do is use my mixer, and if I can't get it to the right consistency, I'll take it in sections into my food processor, which is going to be a pain, but it's worth it for delicious scones. So I'm gonna try with my mixer first though, because this is what I use for like all my baking. So I have all of my ingredients portioned out here into like little bowls and stuff. So we're just gonna start. The first thing says to preheat your oven to 375. My oven's already preheating, so we're all good. Then I'm just going to put everything into the bowl and combine it. I'm gonna use the whisk. And so you're gonna use 2 cups of flour. I already have it measured out. So I'm gonna put the 2 cups of flour into my bowl. If you have a food processor, you are supposed to use this or do this in the food processor. Like I said, I don't, so I'm not going to be. The next thing is a 1/3 cup of granulated sugar, so just like white sugar. And I'm gonna put that right in the bowl as well. And then it's 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Whoop, sorry, that's probably loud. And then I believe you add in the salt. So that is 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm just gonna put that all in and close my mixer. I always lock it. And I'm just gonna do it slowly because I don't want flour to become like a cloud around me. Okay, so this is the part where you would need a food processor because you're supposed to take your dry ingredients and food process it together with your chunks of butter. But obviously, I don't think that's gonna work well with my food processor. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna chop it and try and use my mixer the best I can. But you have to cut the butter into small pieces anyways. So I think it'll probably work. I'm not sure. We're gonna try. So this is 1/2 cup or 1 stick of butter, and it's unsalted butter. And I'm just going to cut it into pieces and then add it into.
Silent treatment in your cup, baby, we don't need to touch.
Let's pray this works.
Sorry if I'm making this hard. Now I'm just wondering where we are.
The flour is kind of just sticking to the butter chunks and coating them instead of like incorporating itself into it. So because it's not working with the mixer, I'm gonna have to use my small food processor. So I'm just gonna use the bowl that I had the flour in after I mix it. So once I food process it all, it's gonna all go into this bowl right here. So I'm gonna just take this off. So I'm just going to keep doing the rest of it. I'm going to speed through this and I will get back to you guys when I'm done.
Look at me the way you do, keep giving myself into you. You know that I hate this part, surprised we ever got this far. We did go through all the circumstances, but
So I've finished the whole food processing bit. It definitely worked. I've moved it back into the mixer now and kind of cleaned up a little bit. So with this running on low, like how you would with a food processor, it would be running on low in the food processor. I'm going to put in half a cup of heavy whipping cream, and then I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So you're just going to keep this running until it is a dough consistency, and then we're going to roll it into a dough. So this is the consistency it should be. So I'm going to get it into a dough ball now. I'm going to take off my rings first. I'm just going to start pulling out small bits of, like small portions of the dough. And then start forming it together and add more and then form it and just back and forth, right?
Keep rushing down the highway. Keep yourself busy on a Sunday. You keep doing you, I do it my way.
Dough ball. I've been forming them into discs that are about 1/2 inch thick. So I'm just rolling them into a ball first and then spreading them out until they're pretty thin, like so. Here is the first one I did, and then I changed my whole camera setup, so now you guys can see a little bit better.
There's a reason why I'm healing, yeah.
So now that I have them into discs that are about 1/2 inch in thickness, I'm just going to cut them into 6 equal triangles.
Every night I fall deep, but love, yeah. But you really get me.
The last one, I'll try and make it so you guys can really easily see. So I'm cutting it in half first, and then pulling each one aside. And then I'm just cutting it into 1/3 and into 1/3, and then they meet at the corner right here. That's like the easiest way to make sure you're getting even triangles. Now I have my prepared baking sheet. It just has some parchment paper on it, and I'm just going to separate these out.
I should catch up on my reading. I should catch up on my eating.
They just said to have about 1/2 inch in between each scone.
My face. Try to get you out my mind, but why should I when you're all I really like?
So now that I have them into their even little triangles, I'm going to put them in the oven at 375 degrees for 16 to 20 minutes. And while these bake, we're going to get our glaze going. So the glaze is made out of 1 cup of powdered sugar, 1.5 tablespoons of milk, and then this is just a splash of vanilla. So I'm just going to put it all into this bowl, and I'm just going to pour in like that, and then do the same thing with the vanilla. Obviously it won't have the little specks that it normally does, and it might be a little bit darker because the vanilla like extract, but and it might be a little more liquidy. But I looked at the comments on the recipe. They said that it wasn't a big deal and that it would taste the same. I'm just combining that all, getting rid of all of the little bumps until it's completely smooth. So obviously, like, our glaze is already done and it's only been like a minute of the scones in the oven, so we're just gonna wait. To you guys, it'll be super quick, but I'm gonna go clean up the dishes and wait for the scones to finish baking. So, be right back. In about 14 minutes and they look and smell amazing. So, all of the scones are done. I gave them about 20 minutes. They probably could have come out earlier, but in the directions they said to make sure that the bottoms are golden, and now they are golden. The tops were set pretty early on though, at like 16 minutes, but the bottoms weren't really golden. Now they're golden and I'm really happy with how they look. Let me show you them. Oh, they look so cute. I'm just gonna transfer them to this drying rack because it'll help them cool thoroughly, and then it'll also allow any excess glaze to run off of them instead of pooling. So I'm just going to move these over. I was gonna use the tongs, but they're not super hot anymore. They're just warm. Now that I have them all laid out here, I'm gonna take my glaze and I'm just gonna drizzle it on a little bit, I think. Yeah, that's cute, kind of. I don't wanna run out, so I'm only gonna start with a little bit and add on more if I need to. Okay, so they're all done. They're all glazed. There's definitely a lot of glaze down under on the pan, but I already tasted the glaze and it's pretty sweet. And so I think I'm just gonna leave that there instead of like scooping it up and putting it on them more, because I feel like they're all pretty coated well. I am gonna wait for them to dry down a little bit before like moving them to a plate, because I do know that powdered sugar glazes typically hard down, or like they dry down a little bit and become hard, but I just can't wait. I wanna try one so bad. That is so good. And like the texture is perfect. So it's very like cakey. Hi guys, so I was almost done editing and I realized that I didn't have the footage from my outro. I don't know what happened to it or anything, so here's the outro. Sorry, it's the next day. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and leave a comment down below if you're thinking about making these, or let me know what your favorite treat is at Starbucks or your favorite drink. Mine has lately, it's been the sweet cream cold brew thing. It is so good. I definitely recommend, if you like the taste of coffee, I recommend you try it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys want to see more like baking and cooking videos, because I definitely bake and cook a lot. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.